Hello, myself Subhajyoti Mahato, lecturer in Computer Science and Technology. I am from Raja Ranjit Kishore Government Polytechnic. Today I'll explain a part of decision control and looping statements, which is a unit of the subject that is programming in C. In this lecture, I will cover the topics: decision making and branching statements, if statement, if else statement, else if ladder, nested if else. Decision making and branching statements. It allows to make a decision based upon the result of a condition. Decision making is about deciding the order of execution of statements based on certain conditions, or repeat a group of statements until certain specified conditions are met. C language handles decision making by supporting the following statements. Those are if else statement and switch. Now if else is also categorized in 4 categories. So these are if else, if else if, nested if. In C programming, it supports sequential program statements which execute one statement immediately after another. Here, the flow is sequential. It never changes the flow of control from the next line. The compiler executes the program sequentially in order which they appear. There are another option when we need the options and when we want to use the selective steps repeatedly. In many situations, we may have to change the order of execution and want to appear or repeat certain steps based on any condition or until condition meets. C supports much decision making or control statements. It is also called conditional statements. Now, if statement. It consists of a Boolean expression followed by one or more statements. If is the most powerful decision-making statement in C language, thus it is used to control the execution of statements. If is used along with an expression, it is a two-way branching or decision-making statement. Syntax: if within first bracket test expression, then body of if statements. Using an if, a computer first evaluate the expression, and if it is true, the body of if is executed, which means the flow of control passes to the if body, or if the test condition is false, then the flow of control passes to the immediate step next to if body. So if there are more than one step or statement in the body of if, they are normally written within the curly braces, which is denoted as the body of if. The test expression will return a Boolean value which is a 0 or 1. Here 1 is true and 0 denote false. This is the flowchart for if statement. Here test expression is basically the condition. If the condition is true, then it executes the body of the if, and if the condition is false or test expression return false, then it go to the end of the body of the if. The control or flow of the execution move to the end of the if. For example, here we define an integer variable with the name age, which contains 56. Now if age greater than 55, then printf retired. So if as the value of the age variable is 56, so the condition is true because 56 is greater than 55. So printf function print retired the string retired to the output console. Now if the variable age contains 30, then the test expression age greater than 55 is returned false. That means the condition is false. So at that time the body of the if will not execute. So nothing will print to the console screen. Now if else statement. An if statement can be followed by an optional else statement which executes when the Boolean expression is false. Syntax. As previous, the if statement is consists of a test expression and it is followed by a body of else. So if the test expression returns true, then the body of the if will execute. That means the statements 1 will execute. Now if the test expression is false, then the body of the else part or statements 2 will execute. So this is the basic syntax of the if else statement. Now come to the flowchart. So expression here, if the expression is true, then that means the body of the if or the statements which are defined within the body of the if block, those will execute. Or if the expression is false, then the body of the else part will execute. For example, here the age is an integer variable which contains 54 if the age is greater than 55, but here the value of the age is 54, so this test expression is false. So the body of the if will not execute. Now the control or flow of the execution now come to the else part. So else, the body of the else will execute. So the printf function here print in service string to the output console. Else if ladder, it executes one condition from multiple statements and the execution starts from top and check each if condition. The syntax are if condition 1, then it will execute the body of the if block for condition 1. If condition 1 is false, then it's check the condition 2. So if condition 2 is true, then it will execute the else if block for condition 2. If the condition 2 is also false, then it comes to the next block and check whether condition 3 is true or not. If condition 3 is true, then it will execute this particular block. And if all those conditions are false, then it will execute the else part or the body of the else. So this is the flow chart. Here the condition, if condition 1 is true, then it will execute the statement 1. If condition 1 is false, then check the condition 2. If condition 2 is true, then it will execute the statement 2. Otherwise, if the condition 2 is false, then it come to check whether condition 3 is correct or not. If condition 3 is correct, that means it's true, then it will execute the statement 3, or if it is false, then it will execute the else part of the if block. For example, here we take an integer variable which is assigned by 20. If I equal to 10, then it will print I is 10. Else if I equal to 15, and else if I equal to 20, and so on. So as the value of the I is 20, so the first condition is false, then it come to the come to check the next condition, that I equal to 15, it is also false, then it comes to the next condition, that is I equal to 20. Yes, it is true. So the printf function print the string, that is I is 20, to the console. Nested if else. One if or else if statement inside another if or else if statements. The syntax is here you can see the if else statements with condition 2 is placed within the if block or within the body of the if, which included the condition 1. So this is the syntax of the nested if else. Now flowchart. This one is the example of nested if else. So here we take 3 variables a, b and c of the type integer. A is assigned by 20, b is assigned by 25, and c is assigned by 16. Now if a greater than b, that means 20 greater than 25. No, it is false. So now it come to the else part. Now within the else part there is another if else. That means this if else is nested within the else. So here we check b greater than c. What is the value of the b? 25, and value of the c? 60. Yes, this condition is true. So it will print the string b is greater to the output console. So the output will be b is greater. These are the resources or references what I follow. This is the question for assignments.